No, I'm just flipping over and over and over again.
New at 11, that driver describes the terrifying moments as a hit and run is caught on camera. You can see the truck doing barrel rolls down I-405 in Kirkland.
Tonight, troopers are trying to track down the driver of the truck that ran into him Friday night. KOMO's Cole Miller spoke with a man who survived that rollover. He's live with more of that video. Cole?
Mary Preston, somehow he was able to walk away without a single scratch. And as all of this was unfolding in those few seconds, he was convinced this was it, that he was not going to see his family again. Now he wants to see accountability and that other driver come forward.
With traffic at a standstill, a driver suddenly swerves their truck across the double white lines, slamming into a white Audi, causing this nasty rollover before that SUV finally comes to a stop. And those cameras, they're from a Tesla. As it drives by, a look at the wreckage left behind. The driver of that truck had taken off. Charles Gunderson was behind the wheel of that Audi.
As I'm stepping out the car and I see what happened to my car, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, thank goodness I'm alive. This person could have killed me.
He was taken to nearby Overlake Hospital in Bellevue to be checked out, and remarkably, he was uninjured.
Sometimes I wake up hearing the crunching of all the glass breaking.
This is how his car looks now, towed away, sitting at this lot, mangled and torn apart.
I feel goosebumps when I see it.
And here's another look at that truck. Gunderson believes it's either black or dark green and had that big ladder in the bed. It likely has damage of its own and white paint scuffs from the crash. The Washington State Patrol now working to find its driver.
He didn't even stop, he just took off. Yeah, and I just wondered to myself, what kind of person does that? It's important that when people do things like this, that they get held accountable for it.
Gunderson grateful to be alive, but still very much shaken up.
Yeah, Mary, it's not that hard to spot some of these infractions. We saw them all over the city as we drove around. You know, for the chief and others, this is about bridging the disparity in enforcement, but others are concerned about the criminals who would be picked up by these minor violations.
It just cracked it and it just went, yeah.
That noise Gregory Dendy is describing was his windshield after someone pummeled a rock at it as he drove on the highway.
I heard bam on my windshield and I go, oh man, a rock hit my windshield.
With a $350 replacement price tag, Gregory says it'll be a few more weeks to get it fixed.
It's probably a good idea to get your windshield fixed. Just for safety reasons.
But he may not have to be in a rush to fix it after all. Seattle police say they're no longer pulling people over for non-criminal traffic violations if that's the only reason for the traffic stop. That includes cracked windshields or items hanging from rearview mirrors, expired license tabs, missing front license plates, or not wearing a bike helmet.
I'm more concerned about just speeding, stop signs, things like that. But I've seen people do too much crazy stuff.
While Briggs thinks there are more important things SPD needs to worry about, like crime and crashes,
I'm seeing more and more of that every day and no police presence.
Others worry about the criminals who would be picked up with those minor violations.
They're out on the streets and they're not getting stopped. It's a concern.
In a letter to the Office of Inspector General, SPD's Chief Adrian Diaz says these violations do not have a direct connection to the safety of other individuals on the roads, paths, or sidewalks. Crime Stoppers Director Jim Fuda says he's heard mixed feelings from within.
That's what the rank and file is feeling, is that God, here they come. There's something else that is restricting my ability to do my job.
Some students in our state are pushing for tighter COVID measures at school and help for sick students as COVID cases climb.
Today, a group of high school students in Mukilteo skipped class to get their message to the district. KOMO's Jackie Kent has more from Kamiak High School.
2,000 students in these halls, and if we aren't even being considered or mentioned, I think there's a problem with that, and I feel like most people can agree.
It's why about 100 Kamiak high schoolers skipped their last class today, rallying to push policies about how their school should be handling the COVID-19 pandemic.
We've noticed the amount of students missing and the amount of teachers missing.
They want stricter mask enforcement, more COVID testing at school, and better aid for students who are homesick with the virus so they don't fall behind.
We would really be hoping for teachers to be moving lots of their information to like their Schoology class pages, Zooms to be happening so students at home could at least see what's going on in class.
Plus, they want to bring back a policy from last year, giving them Wednesdays off so students and staff can catch up on their work from home. Meanwhile, the district says it's aiming to keep class in person when possible.
The district, as well as all of our surrounding districts, have had a real clear message from the state.
Today's walkout comes just days after youth organizations hosted one in Seattle, demanding N95 masks and more COVID testing.
What do we want?
And Franklin High School students are planning a so-called sick out later this week, refusing to go back for in-person learning. Back in Mukilteo, this group of Kamiak Knights says this push is about getting life back to normal as soon as possible.
If we really want to have proms, dances, games anytime soon, action needs to be taken now, and that's what we're trying to get at.
In Mukilteo, Jackie Kent, KOMO News.
At last check, there were just over 300 total cases reported across the Mukilteo District's 23 schools in a week's time. 78 of those cases were at Kamiak High School. The totals will be updated tomorrow.
Hi, everyone. I'm Preston Phillips from KOMO News. Thanks for checking out the KOMO YouTube channel. You can see more of our videos right here by clicking on the video links for more news from the Seattle area and Western Washington. Oh, and don't forget to click the subscribe button below so you don't miss our YouTube updates.